So we were talking before, and one of the things that you ran into early on when you first started the project was tying in the sewer system. And what did you discover?
Well, you have to tie in the new addition to your existing sewer line, which is under the crawl space of the house. When my plumber started doing that, the cast iron pipe started crumbling in his hands and he couldn't make the connection. So we had to talk about what that meant. And the conclusion we came to is we either had to consider digging a trench and putting a new sewer line in from the house to the curb, or doing what they call is trench lining, is sewer lining. And what that is, we decided to go ahead and do that. Even though it was expensive, it was more or less a preemptive kind of thing. Preventive maintenance, you know, like you change the oil on your car so it doesn't break down. This would prevent our sewer line crumbling any further
In the future.
Mm-hmm. And doing this epoxy, here's a sample of it. This is an epoxy sewer lining. This is the final product after they put a machine, a hose and a machine all the way to the street, and then they pump epoxy and they pull that hose back, and what's left is this. And this is as strong as cast iron.
So this actually fills in the existing pipe.
Yeah.
And this is the end product, and it hardens on its own.
Yep.
So it becomes a new pipe inside the old pipe.
Exactly.
Now, go ahead.
So if all cast iron pipes deteriorate over time, ours has been in the ground for over 60 years. So we did it so that it wouldn't crumble and we would have to dig up the whole yard. And so this here will remain in place even if the cast iron does deteriorate further.
How does this cost compare to replacing the line?
This actually is about half the cost of digging up everything, replacing the line, and then the most expensive part of that is refurbishing what you just dug up. Cement in the garage, cement in your driveway, cement on your walkway, and that gets very expensive. So this wound up to be at least half of the cost of doing that.
Now, I remember you telling me that for a few days you actually didn't have water, not because of this, but because of your shutoff valve.
Yeah, well, the shutoff valve is here, and
That right there.
yeah. And so, you know, when you start digging in, this is one of the things that you deal with when you start a project like this. You got to be ready, and you know, I was as ready as I could be, but nobody likes bad news, and the bad news was we had to replace pipe that was underground. Fortunately, this part of the cement on the driveway was already open because we had to put concrete and rebar footings under both these corners on both sides of this garage for structural purposes, for earthquake purposes. So, but this had to be replaced and repiped, and it had to come into the house in another location. This is the feed. This is the cold water feed from the city line at the curb.
Yeah, I think that's it.